Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Doc from North America. How are we all doing today? We're going to, we do on this webinar, we use an algorithm we've been using for over 45 years now. We've used it on trading floors, we've used it at our hedge fund, we've used it pretty much everywhere. We use it in scientific fields. And so what we do is we go and look at different products, dollar index, different currency pairs. We look at anything you basically want to look at. We go through a rhythm of looking at different commodities like gold and silver and crude oil, and just going through all the main products that people trade across the planet. We take that apart each day, and we offer an opportunity for you to ask any questions whenever you want, live with no problem. And we stop what we're doing, and we gladly try to take it apart and try to make it a little bit clearer and more understanding, and what the future potential is, with a success rate of about 8.5 out of 9. I'm sorry, out of 10. Sorry about that. 8.5 or 8.6. It bounces back and forth out of 10. So that's not a bad statistical average. We're a big fan of many forms of derivatives, binary options, calls and puts, so forth and so on. Technical analysis. There's not much we don't appreciate when it comes to different forms of technical analysis. So let's get rolling along. Up on the screen right there, you see the dollar index, and you can see we've been in. We have a three. You can see the actual product itself right there. It has little green dots and red dots. That's part of our algorithm. We have a daily algorithm underneath it, right there. And you can see there the lines help to accentuate, to let you know what our math has done. You can see here when it goes underneath the zero line, it's bearish. When it goes across the zero line here on the upside, it's bullish. And you can see, back here it was bullish. Here it was bearish. It drifts down for about 6-7 days. You get a little buy signal there. And it goes in and out one day there. And we use a combination of the theme of the weekly, the one below it. If we're in a weekly buy and we get a daily buy, we usually buy, or get long through options, or some, depending on your delta and the amount of equity you use. And when it's in a buy in a weekly down below and we get a sell signal, all we do is take our profits and we prepare for downside, but we don't play the short side, because this is a daily and a weekly, and so it can change obviously throughout the day, and I'm able to see it live, but you're not. Now we are working on a remedy to that. We're coming up with a whole new platform. We tried a beta about 9 months ago, and we still use it. But we're over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a new one that's even more advanced and easier for people to access. So let's keep on rolling along, and I just want to try to lay this out at the very beginning of the webinar so you have an idea of what we're looking at and what you're looking at. So in this case here, you can see it drop through. This here is the weekly algorithm, and the blue dotted one is a fast-moving algorithm. The green is a slow, and so the histogram itself is slow also. So it's matched up. It's just a standard deviation difference. So when the green is plus, the white is plus on the histogram. But the blue is a larger, I call a faster moving in a sense. Actually, it's a slower moving, to be exact, because it's a 5 average of our mathematics versus the green and the white is a 3 average. And so the slower one does seem to catch things a little bit better. Notice it breaks here, and it breaks through the zero line there on the weekly basis, but the green doesn't break down until it gets to here. And that's very curious, because the slower one seems to have greater insight than the faster one. So it gives a chance, I guess, to smooth it out, like smoothing out an average, or in atomic theory, doing your multiply and pi square thing. It's like it's the same type of concept. It's smoothing it out, making it less complicated in a sense. Lower average, I guess. So let's march along, and if you have any questions, just put them up on the chat line, and we'll go from there. And matter of fact, let's get that chat line up on the screen at the same time. You won't see it, but I will see it on another computer, so that's not too bad right there. And there comes the chat line, and here we go. We'll take a look and see if we have any questions yet, and we'll march on from there. No, I don't see any questions so far. Oh yeah, I do. There's Robin. Hey Robin. There's Janos. Hey Janos. There is 7695. Could you check US 30, please? Thank you. Sure. And Mario. Hi Mario. How you doing? Yeah, that's what we like. We like questions. We like that a lot because we all learn from it. Yep. And I just got Bill Johnson's question across the phone. Yep, I just finally put it up there. Thank you. Yo, yo, yo. All right, so let's take a look at the 30-year, which is very interesting. We're in the September contract now on that, right? Oh, that's not September. It should be September. I thought it was September. Let's put that in there because that's yesterday. Let's see. It may have already. It's being exercised this week, so we will change that, and we go like this at the same time. There it is, right there. Okay, so it's still ticking away, but the front month now is the September contract. But you can see this. It's been moving up. It's been in a daily buy from here. You can see it's been in a weekly buy since back here, which is interesting. And that big giant triangle that we've been staring at, or I guess it's a downward flag. You can see it was following it fairly well, and now it seems to have broken off, made a higher low here from these lows that were going on, and we are marching our way up through that long drift. We were thinking that it was we were numbering it on a WD GAN flag or channel. So this is the 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5. That's R.N. Elliott's flag. And then when it broke through that and broke down again, then we realized it might be a GAN, WD GAN flag. And then it started to base in there and then started to lift off again here and stalled out again, tried to break down and failed. So interest rates, when we're looking at interest rates or the 30-year bond, what you see is when this is going up, this is the price of the bond. And that means that interest rates are dropping. Okay, I'll say that again. When this is going down, that means interest rates are going up. So they always work in the inverse, and that's why they've invented these like TLT and so forth, these ETFs that try to make it kind of like work together when the price goes up. It's the interest rate, not the price of the bond itself. So there's the 30-year. We really, I guess ECB is talking about dropping rates. There's the deep hope and desire to see rates drop. But when you drop rates when inflation is moving up at the same time, that's not always a good thing. And the last 5 months, we do a calculation of inflation. We take the last 3 months, and then we take 12 months out. So it's the 12th month back, and then the last 3 months, put it in as an average, and inflation has been climbing again. And so it makes it very hard for the Federal Reserve in the United States to drop interest rates, when in fact back in November of last year they said they thought they were going to drop interest rates 7 times, or at least 5 times, or something like that. And everybody who watches the math like I do started scratching their head saying, wait a minute, we're seeing signs of an increasing inflation. And then sure enough, that was at the end of November, and sure enough, by December, it started to perk up. And in January, it started moving again on the upside. February, March, April, and now we're going into June, and we're seeing the pressures on inflation. It's nibbling away on the upside, almost at a 4% area. But the year over year is still at 2.8, and it's just going to be kind of negative, because those back months that were down are going to start to increase, just like the way the front months of the last 4 months have been. They've been moving up in inflation. So it makes it very hard to lower the interest rate. And so we've gone from 7 rate cuts basically starting in December or January to 0 so far. Here we are in June. And there's hope that, on the interest rate side, for people who are betting that it's going to go down, we say that it's transitory ourselves, that what's going to happen is that we know interest rates are going to go down, but they're not necessarily going to go down now. The odds are looking very strong for interest rate cuts coming in November. There is some hope for September, but because of the election, they're trying not to do something like that, because it may generate a scare pop, and the next thing you know, inflation might jump up going into the election itself even more than they want. So I hope I gave you enough information there on the 30-year bond. You can see on a daily basis, let's just widen it out like that. You can see here it's been climbing, and it's broken through that line there. And we went into the daily buy there, and you can see we're pushing up. At the same time, you can see we started off the I guess you could say the 5 average of our algorithm jumped up here, started showing strength, and we had a nice move out of that. And we were also in a daily buy there. And then you can see here the 3 average, which is the fast one, I guess you could say. Really, that's the fast one. Is fallen. It took a while for it to get into the buy there. And so you can see it's tried to lift. It's fallen back, and then still lifting, still staying in the weekly buy for both the 5 average, that's the blue, and the 3 average, which is the green and white. And we used the standard deviation of that one, the 3 and the 5, or the 3, basically just so that we can see how it acts against the manifolds, these golden lines there. They are a standard deviation using our math compared to the Bollinger Band concept. And you can see, as it contracts and expands, and how our math algorithm itself kind of bounces against it. It's kind of insightful. It has its nuances. So I hope that gave you, I'm just going to call you 7695. I hope that gave you some insight to the 30-year. And we're always glad to respond. All right. And Mario, again, I'll just give you a hi, and I'll give Robin a hi, and Giannis a hi. There we are. Now let's go on to, let's take a look at one of the first currencies of the day we look at. But, if you would like to see something else, just put it on the chat line, and we'll go after it. We'll take a look at it. If it's gold or oil or the S&P 500 or Amazon or Apple or NVDA, you name it, we'll look at it. Corn, wheat, soybeans, we're not afraid. We'll go after it. Cocoa, sugar, and cotton, no problem. All right. So until someone throws something up on the line, I drift over to the next product that we follow. Ooh, NVDA. Way to go, Giannis. Thank you. Because I'm very happy to jump around. Variety is the spice of life as far as I'm concerned. So let's open up NVDA. Whoa, I like that. Okay, let's take a look and see. Let's open that up so we can take a look at it. As it ticks away. Tick, 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 tick. All right. And there is NVDA. Let's find it right there. There it is. You see here, it's up again today. We're seeing trading higher over the 1200 area. The low, the high, and the close. Well, the high I think is accurate, but the open and the low is not accurate. It's just from yesterday. They grab them and they throw them on there. I'm not sure why the system does that, but it does. You can see it's a second day now on a buy. You can see we are also in this situation. This thing went into the weekly buy on the 5 average, or I guess you could say it's the slower average of 5 average. You see right here in the $900 area. You can see the fast one went in there. Isn't that amazing how the fast is the poorer of the two as far as I'm concerned? But the slower, or the 3 average, is much more accurate because for the fact that it's more sensitive, you know. And so you can see here it went into the buy around the 925, 950 area. And so it's been holding up pretty well. What else can we say about that? You can see the daily's back into the buy again. Obviously, you wouldn't take the short here. You would have taken some profits. And sure enough, it finds a way to turn around again since we're in those weekly buys right there, especially with the green so high over this golden line manifold. That kind of really says a lot many times. It says an awful lot. And same thing with the blue 5 average above and the histogram even above. It really says that there's lots of buying going on. Screamingly buying. Tons of buying. Buy, buy, buy. And then for newbies here who have not seen our work, you can see back here, back in January, I guess it is. January? Yeah, January or late December. We went into the weekly buy in the... Where do we go in the weekly buy? In this area here. What's that? That's the $500 or $485 area, something like that, and ran all the way up until the almost $1,000 area. And we slid into the sell here. You can see, sold it downwardly pressure, and then you can see we started to jump back up again here, and you can see there was a daily buy right there. Obviously, not many people ask, so we don't really do it. But there's your daily buy there. You can see there's your daily sell right there. It's below the 0 line right there. So there's the action. Fascinating. I hope that helped out there, Giannis. Let's go check out SMCI. And remember, traders, just throw it up on the chat line, and we'll go look at it up. We do everything in order. You ask, boom. In other words, if you saw Janos putting up NVDA and you want to get in there, you could have thrown in before he got the SMCI in there. Let's say if it was Apple, I would go to Apple. And then from there, Janos has AVGO, then I'll go to AVGO. Can it reach 1,300 this week? That product has no problem reaching anything it wants to reach at this point. To speculate at all-time highs about how it can go, this is what I always say to you. If we're in a daily buy and a weekly buy, yes. That's pretty much the answer to it all, especially with both of these things marching up so strong. And you can see here, look at let's widen this a little bit so you can see it better. Maybe I'll bring this down like this. And you can see here that the green is lifting. The green line itself is lifting even over this area here. Now, when it gets up high like that, you notice it topped out. So the moment we get a curve in the green line, that's probably the peak at that moment. And it starts to work down like it did here. And you get a little pressure, getting an opportunity to buy. Same thing like here, where it peaked out there. And you can see it rolls over there. And so then, it goes through. Obviously, I always like to trade at the beginning of a signal. And so yesterday was the day to buy it. And obviously, it's doing it today. And will it go to 1,300? As long as we're in a daily buy and a weekly buy, yeah, I'd say we have a great chance to get there. The moment we're not, then it won't. And I think that's pretty much the name of the game there. All right. So from there, are you hearing CERN again? Let me just double check. I'll leave my other headphone set on. And if they start speaking out of CERN, I'll make sure I turn it off. Okay. All right. I see somebody up on stage there. I'll just show you what I'm mumbling about. Nothing major. Bingo. Bango. Okay. All right. Now, let's go over to, what was that next one? SMCI. Let's see. We'll replace, what should we replace? Let's replace the pizza and put SMCI. No, we've looked at it before. Let's see. Where is it at? Let me just SM. That's it. SM. There we are. And there we go. Close.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can see here, this thing went into the daily cell right there. Let's give this thing a full recycle. In a sense. No, that's not it. Right, there it is, right there. Okay.
Then obviously the central card goes up, but the numerator is the same. That's what. Yeah. But I don't know whether that
There we go. Turn that off. No more CERN. Wait a minute. Yep, it's off. Okay. All right. So you have here. Let's put the daily cell in there. Right there. And you can see it went into the weekly cell last week right here. Let's see. What else can we say? Let's use these guys here. There's your cell right there. There's your buy. There's a cell right there. And then obviously the buy is way back here in that product. Let's see if we can move this over so you can see it a little bit better. Wow. Even further back. We went into the buy in the, what is that? The 300 area. And where did it get to? 1200. Wow. Okay. We did pop into a weekly buy right here. You can see that. But at the same time, we've been in the daily sell, so you never really shifted gears there. You didn't try to get long. Let's see. I see something flashing here. Let's see if there's any. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So there's your SMCI. And right now, it's not getting into the weekly buy yet. But notice the daily is trying to climb into it today. So obviously some people are trying to, as we used to say on the trading floor, bottom fish. Trying to bottom fish. But then this is pre-market too. This is the New York is not open. The main markets, they're all trading electronically. So, we'll see how it is, in the next, the 35 minutes. All right, from there, I hope that helped out. If there's any more questions about it, just say let's look at it closer. Let's go with AVGO. AV. There it is. There we are, a sip of the tea. And here it comes. There we are. You see this? See, the sell there's a sell right there. We had a daily sell, so it kind of went sideways down. Jumped back into a buy right there. let's take this one and do this. See, there's a sell there. Let's see if we can find another buy line and put it in there like that. This just helps you identify it, if you can't see the zero line so clearly. And then you can see it went into the buy there, and now we flirted into a sell. This is really choppy, whatever this is. That was a $1,400 stock. Okay. And there is, it went into a daily buy yesterday, the same way that NVDA did. Joined in on that sell right there. That's interesting. Nice. And then let's find another sell line. It's really choppy. Usually when you get choppiness like this, it kind of means that they're trying to figure out what they want to do. In other words, the conviction level of the funds is not very strong. When you have weekly going in and out, that usually tells me that there's a lack of conviction. They're buying enough to adjust their portfolio, or in other words, their percentage, but nothing more than that. So that's when you start to see this type of action, it means that more volatility is coming, especially with the weekly. I mean, you can see it there, and you can see now. Notice that the 5 average of the weekly. This a lot of times I change. I use the 5 more because of the beta of the underlying product itself. In this case here, the beta might be that high on this that you can see where it goes into the weekly sell here with both, and it stays underneath there until here. Now it goes into the, let's see, what does it do? It goes back into the buy there at the top of that, but instead here the 5 average goes into the buy there, and it's not much better, but it gives you a hindsight very quickly, or gives you live. You can see it vacillates, goes back into a sell there, but the 5 average is holding up for more weeks until there, and then finally, what's interesting is as it finally breaks down, this is moving at a higher beta, so the 5 would be better for this, and that's how I decide which one. It comes down to following the beta of the volatility beta in the product itself, and this thing's much more volatile, which is hard to believe than NVDA, but it is. So I would trust. Let me just show you in a sense. I think I would trust let's just make this invisible for a moment. Just the 5. You can see here, when looking at it that way, it goes into the buy here. You see way back in here in this area, and stays into the buy all the way up to here, which is fine. You see both the slow joins in. You can see the histograms below it, and we can grab this and kind of move this over, and it shows you that the pressure that's going on. Then you can see here it doesn't go back into the buy until here, and then you can see again it goes into the sell here, and it stays in that until basically right here it goes back into the buy, and the next week goes back into the sell, and now we're back into the buy for both. You can see the blue is just, it is, what is that right there? That is 0. Is that minus? It is minus still. It's at 0.44. It's just underneath the 0 line. So you can see it's trying to lift up, and with this action we're seeing here, today's what, Thursday, so we're getting very close to the end of the week. It's possible that this thing will climb, and it will climb up also, just like MVDA keeps on climbing. Then from there, let's see, what's the next one? I guess that's it. That's the 3 you asked for. Oh no, you asked for SPY on there too. There are in the surge, and SPY on its one own. Okay, we can. Do you want to look at SPY? We can take a look at SPY. there. SPY's been in a buy since here. You can see the 3 average. It's a lower beta, so it got into the buy there. You see we moved into the buy back here, right there with the 5 average. It's much stronger through it all, and it's been staying in there. Just took longer for the 3 to get in there, which is, again, it's very unique, that it's reflecting the 3. So. What else can we say about any of these? I guess that's about it. There we go. And we've answered some questions. So from there, I'll go back to the euro. Take a look at the euro. See what the euro is up to. But if anybody has anything to look at, just shout it out. You see, euro's been in a weekly buy for 4 weeks now. And at the same time, the daily has been in a buy for 3 days and is now underneath the 0 line, but it's a green and a red. If it was red, then we would be definitely heading for the sell. We need it to always be, one color on the bars. And so when it goes to 2, it's a neutral still, but it just tells us that more volatility is coming. You can see you get a green and a red here, and you see the action it kicks out afterwards. You get green and a red here. You can see where the action kicks out again. Can you see that? I think you can see that. Or do I have to click on it like that? I have to click on it like that. So let's do that again. So you can see right here, green and a red, and you can see that it's a turn, and the thing starts to turn up. You see here it gets a green and a red, and you get an explosive day the next day out of it. It's an interesting indicator, the green and the red, or when it does that. You can see it here at this bottom right there. So it doesn't always happen, but when it does, it kind of gives us, this is a cute one right there. Look at that. You had a green and a red. The next day was a massive wild day. You had the explosion of higher high and a big lower low, which lasted for, I don't know, 2.5 weeks until it dropped in that sell right there, and then it dropped all the way down. So I hope that is a good explanation of the products, and we just keep on marching along from here. There is cable. Cable's doing the same thing as euro, which is interesting. It's in a daily buy for 3 days and a weekly buy for 4 weeks, and it's giving us a green and a red. So there might be some good action coming over the next 3 or 4 days. And it could be tomorrow, it could be 2 days from now, 3 days. We'll be getting some interesting action out of it. All right. Alrighty. Lunch was short at CERN today. Looks like they're going to start just a few minutes, but you're not going to hear it. I have a third headphone set on. A earplug for CERN now. All right, anyway. Let's go to the Swiss franc. They've done a fine job fighting the inflation over there. And there's the Swiss. It's been in that daily sell since up in here, gliding down. It's also been in a weekly sell since in here somewhere. That's the end of the week. Oh, no, it was actually in the middle week there. Okay. And it's going down also. A little bounce there. You can see how extreme the green line has gotten. So you can see it's flattening out here, trying to build a base. There we go. From there, we'll jump over to the yen. But traders, we're always glad to hear any question, or always willing to look at any product. Doesn't even have to be a question. Just throw a product up on the line, and we will go from there. In that daily sell for a few days, you can see we've had 2 green and reds right there. There was last green and red, and started off another. Well, you can see the big sell-off and gap or the push up, and the next day it confirmed it, and then there was some nice strength and a change of trend. Let's see, where was the last one? This one was interesting. Right there, it was such a sideways action from it. It can. I always say it does three things. It'll take you down, it'll take you up, or it'll take you sideways. But most of the time, it's usually a sign of a change of volatility. In this case here, it was going. It had this great move from this green and red, and it happened here. It went sideways, and then it found a daily buy, it climbed up, and then it gave it to us again. We thought maybe that's the end of it. For a couple of days, it was quiet, but still in a daily buy from here. And then we had an explosion 4 days later. Just a push hard. Just then 5 days later, we had an explosion. And then there's another one right there. You see that? Yen has been very active. Its beta has really gotten wild. And you can see the 5 average right there is basically just doing a very bullish thing. So was the slow, or the green, and the green flirted with the first of all, the 5 broke down in here, and we went sideways, and then it just jumped back up again, and then the green went into a sell here, and it broke down with the daily sell. Remember, you got to coordinate the daily sell with the weekly sell. It makes it so much more accurate and so much more safer, and so much more profitable. All right. Now from there, we go over to the great experiment, Turkish lira, right there. And you see it's played with that upper side of that smaller box now. It's still in daily buy, and just on the edge, you can see over here, it's saying minus 0.02, very tight. So that is the action we see there. Let's see, weekly still staying firm, staying healthy inside the weekly, so not too bad there. Then from there, we drift over to the the South African rand. I don't know if they formed a government down there or not. The way the currency's acting, I'm having my doubts that they've actually formed a government. We're going to Google it again, see what it looks like today. Maybe that'll make some sense. South African government after the election last weekend. See how it comes out. All right, South Africa's ANC considers forming unity government. Okay, with who? The fact that it keeps on going up is not good. Let's see. 10 hours ago. National unity. Obviously, that's why the currency keeps on lifting up. Suggested forming government after losing parliamentary majority last week. Reached out to all parties, but negotiations are still underway. They have no direction. Let's see. Democratic Alliance got 22%. I would hope that they merge with the Democratic Alliance. After that, it gets a little uglier, Zuma basically took 15% of the ANC votes, it looks like, and they could make if they team up with Zuma, the country could literally collapse. If they team up with DA, the country could start to grow again. It'll be the best growth since Nelson Mandela took over. We'll see. But you can see one thing is for sure is that the fact that the ANC hasn't been able to form a government, uh, you know, and the anticipation is they're going to form one that's not very positive for the country. So you can see the currency's gone from 18 up to 19 now over the last week and a half. You see we're in a weekly buy there. And the reason why we watch the South African Rand is because of the metals market. It gives us great insight into gold and silver. So let's go take a look at gold and silver. And there is gold. That's the August contract. You see it's down a little bit here. That's because the South African Rand is trying to move up again. Still in a daily buy, and it's flirting with a weekly buy. From there we go take a look at silver. You see silver is doing that same thing. You see that pressure on it. It's in the daily sell, and it's not really able to get going. It's got a green and a red going on. There, the last one was right there. There was one right there, right before the move. This last move started. Coordinate the red and green with the daily and the weekly, and it can be very profitable. Let's see. What do we got from there? I guess that's that. Let's check out copper, the gold of China. And you can see it jumped into the buy yesterday. And it's trying to get back into the weekly buy, as we see right there. So it's trying to climb back into that buy. There was lots of hope for new stimulus to the economy there, but they don't really have the resources and the leadership to do that right now. They seem to be somewhat lost. So yes, indeed, they seem to be lost and don't really have a direction. What else we got going on there? And then from there, I guess, see, that's copper. So we'll go over to platinum. Let's check out the platinum. Right there. I think it's been very interesting how it started breaking down up in here when it hit the 1100 area, and copper did the same thing. As you take a look at copper again, they both look the same way. You know, broke down, and that put pressure on the gold. Same thing right up in here. You had that waterfall there, and the same thing with silver. Usually platinum gives us good insight. Now the strongest out of the three, or four I guess you could say, really has been the silver. Silver's really been trying to hold up in that $30 area. I guess it's playing the catch up, you know. Playing that catch up, trying to get going there. All right. From there, you know, we go over to our beta too at times. Right there, there's the beta, and we take a look at the gold and the silver, what's going on with that. Now, this is live here, but this is still yesterday's close, so it closed in a daily sell there yesterday, not updating yet. On the new beta platform will update simultaneously, and it's I'll find out more about it today, actually. Weekly was updating, so we got the weekly already updating on it. And so we'll go from there. You can see here the weekly, you know, is in a sell again for a third week. This is the what product is this again? This is the that's cotton. Okay, let's take a look at silver. There's silver there. Silver holding up fighting its way, still in the buy, dropping down dramatically, of course. You can see that and you recognize the lines and so forth, the same concepts. And you can see here on the daily, it jumped into the buy yesterday. And that's it right there with the green. Excuse me. And so today it seems to have lifted itself up and like a gap up. Let's take a look at it on the other platform. Minimize it there. You can see that. And it's not reflecting that gap whatsoever. And so different data feed. And we're investigating having a data feed for the new beta in Dukascopy's data feed. And gold, see the same situation there. More of a gap down, interesting. Let's take a look at it on the beta. In this case here, they're showing today a gap up. And you can see here it's really becoming confused. Goes into the sell and back into a buy and back into a sell. And now yesterday it closed in the buy, just like gold did there. Let's go back to the beta one more time. And you can see the weekly vacillating, was in a sell, went into the weekly buy last week, and now is back into that weekly sell. And you can see here, we've been in the weekly sell here for the last 3 weeks. The slow, or I guess you say the 5 average, has only been a week, and now it's already trying to jump. The green is trying to jump back into the buy, whereas it went back into the sell up down in here. You can see the 5 drifted into it the following week, and you can see it's still hanging down. So that's, maybe gold's telling us something about the South African rand, or vice versa. Is the South African rand trying to tell us about gold? Either way, with it climbing up, it's telling us that there's a lot of pressure and a lot of problem on the long side of gold right now. And that pressure obviously is down. All right. From there, let's go over to energies. And there is crude oil. You see it's trying to climb into the daily buy today. It's through the 0 line. You can see here we are, it's very curious. We do not have, because of the beta of oil, we don't have the blue line on here. Because it's just, it's so, what's the word for it? Maybe we should put it down below. Insert. Let's see what happens here. Study. Because every time I look at that, I always go, why don't I have it on there? It's probably because the beta itself is just too high. And that's not it. You just go back one and just double check it. Yeah, it's a 3.5. Okay. So let's go back to crude oil. So let's put 3.5 underneath it. Study. There it is right there. Isn't that interesting? Okay, that should do it. And then properties. It'll be the weekly. There we are. Wow, those colors are all kinds of wild. Oh, I see. I combined them together on this one. That's interesting. So you can see the blue and the green there above the line, green above the line. Obviously, the blue is not below. The blue goes underneath here. It went there. So let's change that to a line. Style. And let's make that a little less intense. A little bit thinner. And then Oh, I see. I made them all histograms. That's interesting. Let's make that a line. And the white is a line. Okay. So it's reversed. So we go like this. Histogram. Okay. And then that is a line. And that is a line. Let's see how that goes. So let's lift that up here like that. And you can see here, it went underneath there, a head on the crude, and it's still in the cell. So it went into a cell right there, or was it right there? Let's see. I think that's a plus. That was a plus. So it went into the cell here. Interesting. I think we're going to leave this on. Let's save this. Save workspace. You know what? I think I should get rid of this one, really. Oop. There we are. You see, I guess the beta has changed again. Man, I think this is during the Trump years that we were looking at the beta on that. That's interesting. Let's scrunch this up a little bit and see what it looks like back in the back. Yeah, see, it goes into the buy here, fails there, whereas the slow stays in there consistently throughout that whole action. That's why we don't follow it. The beta is it's two whips right there. That's why we don't pay attention to it, and we try not to share that because it's just too whippy. Now it's not bad there. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like this. Bring that down. There we are. It's just better. The slower green. That's interesting too. Huh. We're going to have to do some research on this, but as far as I'm concerned, the pressure is definitely on the downside. And it has not let go, since up in here, up in the mid 80s. Interesting, very interesting stuff here. What else we got going? We only got a couple more minutes because the U.S. market gets ready to open up, so I need to be ready for that too. Let's go to, anybody want to see anything else before I start to drift? Let's just check out, what's the other one? Let's look at Brent. Let's go check Brent out. Right there. And there is, so you can see here, there's it on the beta. Yeah, it's been a weekly sell for like 10 weeks. And you can see that all there. Then let's check out, oh, no problem, Giannis. And then from there you can see the beta, not beta, the beta has Brent on there. Brent has been in a weekly sell for 10 weeks. And you can see, daily it's been, for like going on 6 days here. They are trying to lift it up a little bit there. You can see that. It's joining in with, let's reset that right there. And that is, let's see. Yeah, so that's today right there. It's trying to lift up. But the pressure has been on the daily and the weekly's been in a weekly sell for 10 weeks ever since the 90s area up in here. I hear you. All right, Janos, you're going to be in tomorrow, or you're gone? You going for your vacation? And if you be safe, be smart out there. And we will catch you when you get back. All right. And this is Doc from North America, trying to give you the best information we can find through our mathematics. That's been very helpful for the last 45 years. So, not 4 or 5, but 45. All right. So, this is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow on Friday, which is the end of the week, TGIF. And we will go from there. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Have a safe and smart trading day. And I will come up with a title for this.